Hello my lovely butterflies, this is the Awakened Butterfly and I am back with another video. If this is your first time coming across my channel, please stay for the entire video. If you enjoy the content, don't hesitate to like and subscribe to my channel. How is everyone? Happy Friday. I hope everyone's taking care of themselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. If you guys hear any noise in the background, that's just my fur babies. In today's video, I will be discussing a story time that is actually a re-upload from 2 days ago, but I feel like I was leaving out some important information, so I wanted to do a re-upload to make sure the story is accurate. Okay, so as you can tell by the title, in today's story time, I will be telling you about the time I was attacked by a Christian occult group. Now this, hold on guys, let me get some water. Okay, so this situation actually took place last summer. If you guys go back to one of my story times, well, one of my story time videos where I think the title was how gang stalking is used as a spiritual weapon and is used as a weapon in spiritual warfare. Go and check that video out, guys. And in that video, I'm actually talking about how I lost my home, lost my apartment due to a fire, and I feel like it had a lot to do with gang stalking, the way everything happened. And I'm explaining all of that. And it actually leads up to last summer, the apartment that we moved into as a result of what happened. Guys, from the time that we moved into that apartment, I felt a weird energy. I felt like someone was watching me the entire time. I felt like there was a camera on me for some reason. I didn't see one, but it was just a feeling that someone was watching me. Okay, the building itself was already eerie. It was an old restaurant that they turned into an apartment complex. So the windows of our apartment was huge. I mean, they were very big because they were like office windows, like to a plaza or a complex. They were very big. So even though we had blinds up, I still felt just very uncomfortable with how big the windows were. So moving right along. Okay, so I also started to feel, for some reason, like I couldn't breathe. I don't know, it's like something was clouding me, like maybe some type of dark energy. That's how I perceived it, as to be dark energy, because it seemed like everyone around me started to treat me negative. It's like everyone, even my loved ones, it's like people started to treat me kind of weird. I didn't understand it. And it seems like also at that time I started to be harassed by my landlord. And I also made a video explaining that. I think it's in that video that I was just telling you guys about. So one particular day, my fiance and I were going to Walmart, and like a few days before that, I kept seeing a red SUV riding by. And when I would go to the corner store, I would see several SUVs. As every time I walk out the door, I'm seeing several SUVs riding by. It would either be the same color as what I have on, or it would be just a certain color, but it would be several of that different cars of that same color. And in this situation, it was red SUVs everywhere I go, everywhere I go. So that started to make me have a little anxiety as is. So a few days, I would say a week after that, maybe about 4 days, I would say 4 days. My fiance and I went to Walmart, and as soon as we pulled in the parking lot, red SUVs were everywhere. Okay, red and silver SUVs. So once we get home, now my stomach is balling up, guys, because now there's a red SUV parked next to our parking spot. So when we pull into the parking spot, I look over at the car and I say, I'm like, is someone there for us? But then I automatically see a woman standing outside talking to the neighbor. So I saw that when I looked over inside of the car, I saw three individuals inside of the car, and I saw that the driver's seat was empty. So I just figured that, put two and two together. She's there talking to the neighbors. Okay. Proceeded to go into my home and begin to take. Well, as I get ready to go to the door, I hear the lady that's talking to the neighbor say, it's like she just looks around and say, I'm supposed to be here praying for someone. And right when she said that, as I was going in to put my groceries down, a young lady got out of the car and approached me. And she said, it is so hot out here. She was sweating. She said, may I please have some water? I said, sure, you can have some water. So as I went and got the water and gave it to her, she recited some type of, it wasn't a Bible scripture exactly. She recited a spiritual quote to me. It was like a biblical quote instead of a scripture. And she said, since you gave me water when I needed it, then I must pray with you. And I was like, okay, everything happened so fast, So she grabbed my hand and she said, she just started praying and she was like, oh God, please help her, please help her. And I was like, what is going on? It started to, at this point now I'm getting a lot of anxiety because she's making me feel like there's something wrong with me by her doing that. It's the way that she, approached me, like someone sent her to me. It's the way she came to me, the way she was grabbing my hand, like someone sent her to me. Right as she did that, I began to gain a little anxiety, and I already had a lot of pressure on me from the fire, the house fire, the move, everything that we went through. So I was a little vulnerable at that time. So I did start to cry because I had been praying to God more than ever at this time. So when she came, I started to feel like it was a sign from God. As time went on, I started to realize that it was a gang stalking attack, and I'm about to get to why I feel that way. So as she's doing that, the lady that was in the driver's seat that was talking to the neighbor, she walks over from the neighbor and she walks over to me and she starts grabbing my other hand. And she starts saying, oh, you're the one. You must be the one that I was sent to pray for. And she said, can we take this inside? Now, when she asked to come inside, my fiance looked at me like, what is going on? I'm looking at him like, I don't know. Me being tricked. It's just like, this is why, guys, there's a difference between believing in the Most High God and believing in a religion and using that religion to persecute other people. Christians can do that as well. And I'm not bashing Christians because I believe in the Most High God more than anything. I pray and I also read certain Bible scriptures that he sends me to at that time. Whatever resonates, God sends me to that scripture and I read it. And I also incorporate it into my videos. But I'm not one of those people that judge people and say, oh, you're going to hell because you're not doing this. Or you're going to hell because you need to be doing that. And there are some people out there that will stone you with their words. And some people will also try and physically harm you to, as to bind you to a religious belief. And that's what they started to do to me. It's like she tried to force her way into my home. She was like, we need to take this inside. Now, automatically, when she said that, the young lady had my hand. The other lady had my other hand. Now, as we're walking into the house, now the other two individuals exit the car. Now they're walking in without even asking, can they come inside? And my fiance was like, I don't like this. What is going on? And at that time, I was like, they can come in because I'm confused at this point because they're talking about God and I'm doing a lot of praying and I'm figuring that that's why they're here. So they pull out a deck of cards and they say, can we sit on your floor? Because I had my living room was big and I had minimal furniture. I don't like a lot of furniture or whatever. So it was a lot of sitting space and they asked two of the individuals sat on my couch and the other two sat on the floor and they pulled out a deck of cards. Now they had one young man with them, and the rest were women, and one young lady and two older women. And one of them had a Bible in their hand when she got out of the car, and at that time, I was praying. I was doing some meditating. I was watching some spiritual videos like Sod Guru. I watch it. I feel like he has a lot of positive aspect in some of his videos. I've watched a couple of his videos, and a lot of spiritual channels that talk about God, things that a lot of positive, trying to incorporate a lot of positive things into my life. And he pulled out the deck. I said that because I have something else to say after pertaining to that. Now, keep in mind that I told you I named one of the YouTubers that I watch, spiritual YouTubers, and then I told you that I watched the videos. Okay. So, they pulled the deck of cards out, and they said, this is what's going on in the world right now. And they were saying that you have to, it's how they were explaining it, like, well, this is where you are if you don't come over to this side. This is what will happen to you. And I said, what side are you talking about? Because I believe in God. And then the lady goes to look over at me and says, are you two married? And I said, no. And she said, that's another thing. I need to talk to you. If you want to come over to belong to us, to, you two need to be married. And also, you have a nice size home. You need to use, and she was like, do you cook? And guys, I do that for a living. And I never told her that. And she said, do you cook? Because if you do, I was going to say, you can hold special dinners here for us, and we can all sit in communion and talk about, God and different things like that. It's like they were trying to force their way into my home, but they were judging me severely at the same time, and telling me different things that I needed to change about myself in order to be a part of them. And I didn't want to be a part of what they were doing. I already felt funny about the situation. And then the guy looked at me and said, do you watch you watch a lot of spiritual channels, don't you? And I said, yes, I do. And he said, you've been praying a lot, haven't you? And I said, yes, I have. He said, have you watched Sod Guru? And right then, that's when my intelligence kicked in. I said, I'm being gang stalked. And it's the way that he looked. I saw in his eyes how he narrowed his eyes down and looked at me. I was like, oh boy, I am being gang stalked. And at this point, I said, well, guys, I need to put my groceries up and get settled in, maybe you guys can come back at another time. She said, no, you need to make a decision about something. And guys, as I'm putting my groceries up, and my fiance and I, they're trying to help us put up my food. And we were like, no, we got it. We don't need any help. And the guy was like, no, I insist. And it's the way his eyes were looking. I was like, he's looking very robotic. This is very, very, weird. So the lady that was driving said, can we talk to you in another room privately? And I said, about what? She's like, we just need to talk to you in another room. So I go into my bedroom, and her and the young lady stepped inside. The other lady and the young man stayed in the living room with my fiance. And they said, do you have any intentions on marrying him? And if not, you two can't continue to be together. He needs to leave today. He needs to leave now. It's like they were trying to force him out of my home. It's like they came in my home out of nowhere, was trying to force my fiance to leave, saying, if you guys are not married, you guys don't need to be together. God sent me here to say you need to join us and make him leave. And I was like, oh, no, I don't agree with that. I don't agree. By this time, my fiance knocks on the door. He said, I'm feeling uncomfortable about this, about what's going on here. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, guys, that's my chair. And I said, okay, I am too. And she was like, do you at least want to get baptized today? And I said, no. What, I've already, been baptized in my life. I don't need to be baptized again. I got baptized when I was 8 years old. And at this time, the guy had asked my fiance, could he use the restroom? So now I'm walking out, we're walking out of the bedroom. He's walking out of the bathroom, guys. Guess what? I had heard water running. This man ran my tub full of water. And he was looking very robotic. And he was like, so is she ready for the baptism? And she looked at me. She said, do you have anything else you're going to change into? Or are you just going to wear that? And I said, ma'am, I don't want to participate in that. And you guys have to leave. And when I told her that I wanted them to leave, they looked over at my fiance and said, oh, he wants us to leave. I said, no, I also want you to leave. And he gave me a card. The guy gave me a card, and he said, this is a spiritual channel that you can go to and watch things. He said, because I watch Bible. He said, all I do is read the Bible all day, watch Bible movies, and that's all I do. That's all I do. And it's the way he was saying it, so robotic. And I was like, that's all you do? He said, yep. Since I've joined them, that's all I do. That's all I do. It's just the way he was. And I said, what church do you guys belong to? She said, it's not a church, it's a lounge. And when she said that, my stomach dropped. It just dropped. And I remember when she said that, I had a premonition of seeing them with robes on standing around a fire. I really did. And I have an idea of who maybe sent them my way. I have I don't want to say the word, but I have, let me say this, crime group, family members. And I feel like there was something behind that. You can always tell by a person's behavior what they're about, if they're genuine or not. And what makes matters really crazy is I had already given the young lady my phone number before she asked to speak. The lady asked to speak with me in private. So that next day after I made them leave, they called my phone. And she was like, was trying to check back in to see if you wanted to still join us or whatever. And I told her no. And she was saying how disappointed she was and how disappointed God was that I wasn't ready to give my life over to him. And at that point, I'm like, wow, they're really trying to use God to gang stalk me, to attack me. They don't know anything about my relationship with God. If anything, they've come to try and destroy me because they see that my relationship with him is getting stronger. Guys, after this, I saw them at the apartments across the street from me, and after they talked to a guy, the next thing you know, when they left, he was rolled in a sheet and he was shaking on the ground. Lord knows I'm telling the truth. This man was shaking on the ground with the blanket tied around him. And I don't know if he let them do the baptism on him. I don't know, because it appeared that he didn't have anything but a sheet wrapped around him. My fiance came and got me and told me to come outside and look. And the ambulance and the police were there. And this was like a week after they came to me. So I'm so glad that I didn't go through any of those things with them. One of the ladies started speaking in tongues, and out of nowhere. And not every time someone speaks in tongues is of God. Not all the time. And in this situation, I really don't think that it was. Also, she kept calling my phone saying that she was very disappointed in me, and I blocked her number. And then I saw them pull up at the people across the street. Okay, now after all that happened, it seems like my landlord started harassing me even more after that. My rent was paid. It wasn't about the rent. It was always about minor things. If you listen to my other video, I got fined for having one of those small barbecue grills outside. They just started harassing me about small things, and until eventually, um, when it was time for the lease to be up, they decided they didn't want to sign the lease anymore for no reason at all. Um, my fiance and I, we did want to take them to court, but it was too late because our lease was up, and they didn't have to sign another lease with us if they didn't want to. So we didn't ever understand that either. But I'm just looking at it as the Most High didn't want us around that negative energy, because I did feel like someone was watching me. Oh, and guys, before we moved out of there, they put a camera up above the office, the rooftop of the office. They put a camera right there in the corner of the window. So it was just very weird. It seemed like we were already being watched anyway, especially when the guy knew everything that I was watching on my YouTube channel. Um, yeah, it was very weird. So maybe he could have hacked my account or something like that. But yes, they claimed to be Christians, but it was really like an occult group. You can tell how everyone was acting so mind controlled and so robotic like. And you can tell that the woman that I was saying that was driving the car, you can tell that she had some type of control, spiritual control over all of the people that was with her. She was the leader and the recruiter. You can tell. You can really tell by her actions. She was really aggressive in her own way. So yes, um, I was attacked by the. You guys know. You guys know. I don't even have to say it. You guys know who I'm talking about. And once they came around, I can tell that there was another spirit executed through them, and they were carrying out this mission for someone else. It was obvious. It was very obvious. God's not going to force anything. You're going to come to Him. He's not going to force you to come to Him. You're going to be drawn through the Holy Spirit within you. When it's time, you will draw. No one, God will not, he will not come at you that way to tell you that. The way they were talking, it didn't sound like someone who really believed in God. Maybe they had another God that they were praying to. The demanding behavior was very awkward. They were trying to demand me to leave my fiance, to get in a tub of water, to invite people into my home. You want me to leave my fiance that I've been knowing all of these years and invite some people that I just met today, along with other people that I don't even know yet, into my home. You can tell it was a lot of demonic energy behind it. So if you just listen to people, guys, you can really pick up on their energy, their mission for wanting to be around you, just who they are overall as a person. Just listen to the words that come out of their mouths and just watch their actions, and you'll know everything that you need to know. And that amount of time that they were around me, I knew. I also knew that God's not going to send someone the way that they came to me. Now, don't get me wrong. God works in mysterious ways, but you have to match things up. My neighbor was a kind person. I knew that she would have given that young lady water, first of all. But it seems that when I pulled up, you said you hadn't had anything to drink all day, and you asked me for water. And as soon as I give it to you, you say, "Oh, I have to pray for you now." And then all of a sudden, the lady walks away from the neighbor, comes over, the other two gets out, y'all make y'all way in the house. It's just the way the whole thing was set up. You can tell it was street theater. It was all of that. So I'm glad that I caught on to it. And we have to separate believing in God from religion. You don't have to be religious in order to believe in the Most High. And I think that's what condemns a lot of us. I think that's what keeps a lot of us stuck from the truth. There are a lot of Christian groups out here, a lot of these churches out here that are really operating off of demonic energy. The church thing is just the facade. That's just the image that they're, portraying in order to make it look like they're holier than thou people. But no, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and there's someone else behind the veil. And a lot of these churches are ran through crime groups. They operate off of crime groups. A lot of gang stalkers are protected by these religious crime groups, especially the ones of high authority. You guys know the ones that I'm talking about. The judges, the lawyers, the doctors, the pastors. All you guys know. Just because a person portrays themselves to be a pastor or a church going person that that believes in God and is trying to do the right thing doesn't always mean that it's true. You always have to, with people like that, you have to listen to them, and then you'll find out, because their actions, they're always trying to stay on their toes to show you something else. They don't want to show you who they really are. With the people that are non-talkers, they're not really social. You have to go off of their actions instead. So, yeah, guys. I just had to get that out because I was fooled for a second. I really was. I was really fooled. I didn't understand. I used to be to the point, if someone says something about God, I automatically feel like, oh, they're a good person because they're talking about God. But sometimes people can use that as, a way of manipulation to make you think that they're this way when they're really that way. So yeah, I hope this story time helped someone. I love you guys so much. I know I've rambled on and rambled on. I got so comfortable with talking to you guys, I just kept going. Cookie's right here taking a nap, and I'm just here talking away to you guys. I love you guys so much. Have a great weekend. Continue to take care of yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Continue to stay prayed up. Continue to spread awareness. Continue to be the great, beautiful people that you are. Stay safe out there, guys. I love you guys so much. And until the next video, peace and love.